you were studying Aesop's Fables, weren't you, this week? Now, I'm going to be very liberal here and let you talk about it. It's not a test. I'm not, hey man, just like chill out. I'm not this like rigid sort of, you know, box in society. Just tell us your views. Just tell us your vibe on Aesop. Tell us something. What have you learnt from these fables?
He, made a bit of money out of something that's quite simple.
Yeah, I don't know if he did make any money out of it. I mean, you know, I think it was published like thousands of years after his death, but go on.
Yeah, they're just little stories. I mean, enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Didn't learn anything from them.
Okay. Or did you see? Because it's teaching through sort of like metaphor and analogy, and maybe it all seeps in and it's all subliminal, and maybe in a way your subconscious is teaching you.
No, it's silly, Rick, it's silly.
If the stories were done in like a real way, that there's like a man and a woman, and it's a little story that something happened to them in life, then you learn something. But it's all about, you know, a gorilla and a fox are walking through the woods. How often does that happen?
Sure. So you're saying if it was more like
if it was more true to life,
if it was more like real stories, like, you know, a kid on his grifter and a magpie pecking at his head, or two frog boys with webbed hands. I mean, if it was real stories from real life
that people could believe, actually happened,
maybe, you know, it would teach us something.
But why not do that? Like, take a real situation, say like the So Solid Crew guy, going down for carrying a gun. Use that in some way. Do you know what I mean?
As a warning, maybe about carrying guns?
What about something like, if you carry guns and that is illegal, you could have some sort of punishment?
Yeah, that's
good.
So it doesn't bother you then that the fact that these fables have been used for many, many generations to educate maybe young children or even older people, the fact that they've served a brilliant function and they've become classics, that doesn't bother you? You've seen through them?
Well, they don't always work. Okay. When I was out with Rick the other day, he brought one up.
Oh, I told him the one about the two mice, the industrious mouse, who throughout the summer he would be storing berries, nuts and berries, and he'd be storing it, and the other ones would just be eating off the trees and running around and having a laugh, and they go, well, you're going to become hungry. We'd go, oh, I'll worry about that when it comes to it. And they'd do that, and he'd be storing his nuts and berries, and autumn came, and the mouse was still playing and not doing anything. And then winter came, and the silly mouse was like shivering, and he went and knocked on the mouse's door and went, I'm freezing and I'm starving. And the clever mouse said, well, I told you, didn't I? You know, you should have been storing your nuts through winter like I did. Come in and share mine. You know. And what did you say, Karl?
Well, and the moral of that is whatever.
Yeah, you know, sort of, you know, just be careful. But my thing is that it's not very good, because the moral of that is do what you want, and there's always a do-gooder, a chair there.
Yeah, so, right, sure.
Yeah.
But the way you know, I think, which is more sort of 2002, the ending should have been, you know, the guy with all the berries should have, like, been like, yeah, no, I'll be alright come the winter. I've got loads of food, I'll be safe. But then, as he's going into his little hut at the beginning of the winter, some sort of bus or something comes and kills him. Right. And it's like...
You should have partied hard, because you might die.
Yeah. Enjoy life whilst you've got it.
Yeah. Okay, and if winter comes, just starve to death.
Well, you know, worry about tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm wondering if there's a new book here. I really am wondering if there's a Karl's Fables.
He's been coming out with some all week. He keeps going, well, that's a fable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your favourite fable in there? Have you learned anything from this book? You know, is there one fable you liked?
Yeah, I mean, they're all alright.
What did you like?
You've thrown it on me now, there.
Didn't you like one about a crab, you said?
No, that was the one about messing about on a cliff edge or something. Don't mess about on a cliff edge. Well,
what was that?
I don't know. There's not many around here, so I didn't take much interest in that one. You know what I mean?
God. I'm doing my best here.
You don't remember any?
Here's one that was quite nice. There was a belly, you know, like your stomach.
Yeah.
And it's this belly on a pair of legs. And the legs was saying, I'm more important than you because I carry you around. And the belly said, yeah, but, you know, if it weren't for me, holding all this food, you wouldn't have the energy to walk around.
Yeah. And
that means, like, you know, rather than working on your own, it's best to work in a team.
Yeah.
So...
Well, the one similar to that I was taught when I was little was, a vision of, heaven and hell. And it went down to hell, and in hell, right, there was these people had like 20-foot long chopsticks.
Yeah.
And they were getting their food, and they couldn't get the chopsticks into the food and get it round to their mouth because they were just too long.
Right.
Right, and that was hell. And in heaven, they had exactly the same thing, but they were feeding each other.
What? Right.
You don't like Chinese food? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what your concern is, Carl?
No, I'm just.
Well, see, the one I remember, I can't remember the ending. It's about two nuns in a bath.
Yeah, oh, I know.
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that
it,
one?
yeah.
Or are they on a bike?
That's two adventures. It's the same nuns, but they go to all sorts of adventures.
They're normally quite erotic adventures.
Yeah,
aren't
but they are. There was one where they're driving down a cobbled street, I remember.
Oh, go on.
And then there's the other. Then, of course, they get. Whalebones on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant.
Hello
and
there.
Karl. Well, Karl, I really don't think you got your teeth into the Fables. Really, I don't think you.
There wasn't anything to learn. I read a couple, thought, yeah, that's all right, and put it down again. There wasn't anything to learn. It was all stuff I knew already, but made up with nice little foxes and bears and stuff. So
Yeah. But that one about like. That one we spoke about, like, when the hares are going, we should share all our food, and the lion said, that's a good argument, but it hasn't got the teeth and claws that we've got. That's lovely, because it's sort of like, you know, that's an indictment on, sort of, you know, you could say it's an anti-equality almost, you know, you could get really sort of deep into that, you know what I mean? You could, no?
Big
All right.
philosophical ideas in a nutshell. Not interesting.
no, not really.
Okay.